Who's ready for a vampire hunt? When bloodsuckers move in on a neighborhood, are they prepared for what they might encounter? The new Netflix original, Vampires vs. the Bronx, takes us on a vampire adventure. Should we get out the garlic, or should we welcome it into our homes? When people start to go missing in the Bronx, 3 boys believe that they know what is going on and that vampires are at work. The rest of the community, though, doesn't believe them, so it's up to the boys to save their neighborhood. I love how they put some visual Easter eggs for us in this movie. I mean, there's Murnau Properties, a picture of Vlad Tepes on a billboard, and that is just in the first couple of minutes. They do intersperse some more if you're paying attention. The 3 leads in this are absolute scene stealers. I mean, they are smart, witty, sarcastic, and pretty funny. Miguel, Bobby, and Luis are really great together. They have the fleeting innocence of early teenagedom mixed with a healthy dose of skepticism and conspiracy theories. This is a little bit Goonies, a little bit Super 8, a little bit Attack the Block, and a little bit The Lost Boys. It takes what makes each of those great and then adds in its own level of charm. Miguel is the leader, Bobby is kind of the tough one, and Luis, it turns out, is the vampire expert. All his info comes from movies that he watches, especially Blade. And I really do love the parenting moments in this. I mean, the moms of the boys are funny, but they also put their foot down, and you can tell how much they really care about their sons. They want the absolute best for them, that they want them to be on the straight and narrow. They are not the moms to mess with if you come home after curfew. We also have Shea Wiggum in this, and he's kind of this syrupy, just slimy character. And you can tell that he was having a lot of fun with his character, just in his mannerisms and in the way that he's playing it. I really liked Method Man as the priest in this, but I do wish that we got more. He gets a couple of great lines and a little bit of interaction, but I think he's kept to the sidelines, and maybe that's just because they didn't have a larger part for his role in the story, but I think they could have expanded it a little bit and just included him more. One underlying theme in this is the gentrification of neighborhoods. You have the overtaking of minority neighborhoods, buying up property, and just basically pushing everybody out because they can no longer afford to live in the neighborhood that they've grown up in. And every sign for all of the stores that are going in as part of this gentrification are just laughably hipster. You have locally sourced small batch butter, a shop that could either be a restaurant or a tailor. And almost all of these are small visual references. They're not called out overtly or even just splashed largely across the screen. You have to be paying attention. And that's one thing that I really do appreciate about this movie, is that it's got this subtle visual humor to it. It really feels like the filmmakers are rewarding us for being attentive. So they give us a chuckle, but they earn it. Now, there are some scenes in this that become tense, but then humorously, they add in just a scene of awkwardness right in the middle of what's going on. And that sounds like that may not work, but it really does, especially with the entire narrative that they have set up and the whole theme of just how they've introduced the characters. And so it doesn't feel out of place. It really fits, and it'll make you smirk. Now, the story itself is not overly deep or original, but the execution is what makes it work. The kids and their connection to the neighborhood is what makes this a lot of fun. And it's the friendship between the boys that feels really genuine. I mean, the way that they laugh at each other, they tease each other, but they've also got each other's backs, and they are really looking out for each other's interests. I think if you go into this expecting a horror or a really great vampire story, then you may not be too satisfied. But if you're looking for a story with friendship and adventure, then this is a great fit. I mean, even the violence in this is toned down. There are moments that do have violence, and when it could be bloody, they take the blood away. And even when they come up to a scene of violence, the camera will pan away right at the last moment, not showing us the actual violent act. And that just helps to make it a little more kid-friendly. I mean, sure, there are still fight scenes. There are still people getting stabbed in the chest with wooden stakes because it is a vampire movie, but we just don't get to see all of the bloody gore that goes along with it. So it's really the friendship of the boys and just their interactions, their level of humor that they can bring through dry sarcasm and their wit and their smarts that really make this work. It's a lighthearted watch with some tension, adventure, laughs, and a good message. There's no sex or nudity, there is some profanity and some violence. I give Vampires vs. the Bronx 4 out of 5 couches. So do you have a favorite vampire movie? I'd love to know what that is in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris, this is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.